Beauty. Okay, so we did get invited. He's going to be going into Shakura's Plateau. It's an interesting choice. I mean, it's fine map. You know, generally speaking, in mirror matchups, unless one player is way more aggressive than the other or something like that, the map doesn't really matter.
All right, looks like both of our players are in the lobby here. And before I even ask, they are both ready. And we are going to get started right away. Man, what a crazy last game. Getting the planetaries and the choke points, that giant ring of missile turrets.
Yeah.
And then losing to like the only one possible thing that could beat him, which was losing his Thors and then losing a mass air transition.
Yeah, I mean, he lost a lot of Vikings as well as they flew over all the Marines. Like, I'm not really sure what happened there, what he was looking at, but regardless, we are into Shakura's Plateau. This is game 2. KawaiiLighT is leading 1-0. So spawning now in the top right side of the map is Empire's Beastyqt. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left, it's the yellow Terran, KawaiiLighT.
Man, that started with Proxy Marauder. I can't get over that. I was like, so focused on the Thors and the Banshees and the Yamato cannons.
Yeah.
And the response of trying to go for Seeker missile against that I totally forgot about that opening. So we're going to have to pay attention to see if we see another Beastie build kind of opening from our blue Terran in the top right here. And if KawaiiLighT is going to actually go and scout some more this time. Yeah,
I mean, Beastyqt likes to do a lot of sneaky stuff like that, so you definitely have to be really active with the scouting against him. And like I said, you know, it's hard to prepare for an individual opponent in a tournament like this because you play so many people. But Beastyqt, in just the EG Masters Cup alone, I've seen him do that build like 3 times, like on that map. He does it so much on Metropolis.
Looks like he is patrolling that SCV to build the bunker in the proper place. Both of our players are going for that initial wall off. So right now, everything mirrored here. And where are we going to see the deviations? I mean, there we go. The normal gas timing. We'll see if Kawhi actually goes for it or goes for an expansion once again.
Yeah, it looks like he is just going to skip the gas. I mean, it's possible he could get a late one, but generally speaking, you're going to get a 13 if you are at all. And he's going for a fast second depot to deny the scouting, and then he's going to send that SCV out. You just have to build a little bit, and then you can use the SCV off the racks to finish that up. And this is an interesting variation. I mean, a lot of players were doing this a while ago, but more and more players are now skipping that second depot to get the earlier second CC.
And right now we see the SCVs kind of passing each other. Looks like both of them going to scout the close air positions, so to speak. So they're going to scout each other second. But right now Beastie is mining that gas. We'll see when he throws down that factory.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, it's like, generally speaking, you'd be pretty happy if you're Beastie having a close by air because he went for gas, so, you know, very likely wanted to go for some sort of Banshee or something like that. So, I mean, I think that it's a little bit of a bad feeling when you see that these not close by air. I mean, cross spawns is going to give KawaiiLighT a lot more time to prepare for this.
And there we go. As soon as he takes down that SCV scout, throwing down the command center. In the meantime, we do have a factory coming down for Beastie.
Yeah, and he's moving that racks into a position where he can build an add-on, so I think it's going to be a reactor. Yeah, so my guess is he's actually just going to do like a 1-1-1 now. He is getting the second refinery, so he's going to get reactor, probably just pump Marines, and then get the factory, start pumping out Banshees, and then follow that up with siege tanks, and hopefully have done enough economic damage with those Banshees that the follow-up attack with the Banshees, siege tanks, and Marines could just end the game.
Yeah, and looking at KawaiiLighT's vision, he did not see any indication of gas, so he has equally no idea what his opponent is doing. So both these players kind of in the dark. So we'll see if Beastyqt's more aggressive style play is going to win out or not. Again, it is versus a macro style here. And, ooh, okay, landing the, okay. It looks like he's going to go maybe Marine Banshee. Not opting to swap the factory immediately onto that reactor. Sometimes you do see the Hellion Marine drop, but I think this is just going to be Marine Banshee.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be Marine Banshee followed by the siege tanks for the 1-1-1 attack. And I mean, KawaiiLighT's CC is now finishing up. He's probably going to lift it down to low ground after it finishes morphing into that orbital. He's going bio, starting off with 1 reactor, 1 tech lab. Pretty standard stuff here from him. But it's all just going to come down to how he handles the Banshee. I mean, if the Banshee does no damage, then he's going to be fine. But if it does, you know, get a lot of worker kills, the follow-up attack could definitely end the game.
And we're going to have to see here if he decides to go for Cloak. Right now he does not have the gas for it, but continuing to mine that double gas, the factory over on the side here is going to make a tech lab for that pretty standard follow-up. Right now producing Marines 2 at a time from that reactor at the front.
Yeah,
and in the meantime we do have, looks like combat shields first for Kawhi.
And that's definitely good against this. I mean, it's going to make it a lot harder for the Banshee to deal with those Marines. It's going to be 3 shots instead of 2, which is huge. He definitely won't go for Cloak. The scan goes down. He's actually researching Corvid Reactor. Is that even seen? It isn't, unfortunately, for him. But because that's pretty cute. I mean, as soon as the scan goes away, he's going to cancel that. He does now cancel.
I didn't even see it at all. That Starport is actually out of vision.
Yep.
So he has really no idea that this Banshee is coming across the map.
Yeah, I mean, he loves the tricky stuff, man. The Corvid Reactor wasn't even seen, so it's not really going to be impactful. But he's going to follow up with tanks and everything. He's going to expand behind this. I thought he was just going to kind of all in. He's actually getting a Raven now. So this is definitely not what I expected. This is, I guess it's just because it was already scanned. He's trying to change it up, but I feel like he should have just gone for the attack still, because it's like now he's just kind of accepting that he's going to be behind. He is going to get in here, kill 1 SCV, kill a second, pick off maybe a couple Marines here, but the combat shields has kicked in, so it's going to take 3 shots to kill those Marines. Yeah,
that is just so huge. For any of you that played StarCraft Master and thought that was hard, imagine if you had to do like 30% more shots. It's just so much more difficult.
Yeah.
We see that Banshee down to 20 health. Not going to get too much done. 5 kills, and that's not bad, but certainly not what he hoped to have done.
Yeah, it definitely isn't, man. I mean, he has a bunch of Marines out now. He has a Raven of his own. He's following it up with a medevac, so he's just going to go into Marine tank after this. Definitely not what I really expected.
Cute little standoff here at the natural as that missile turret and the Marines on the low ground just trying to connect with this Banshee here. Only 30 more health on it, and gets away.
He should probably just send that home at this point and repair it. I mean, he's at 8 HP. He's not really going to get anything more done with it.
I think he's trying. I think it's just trapped, to be honest.
I mean if he goes to the bottom, can he get past that missile turret?
I don't think so. Gonna get a couple more kills here.
He's controlling it really well.
Yeah, he's doing a really great job. Maybe there might be enough space, but I don't know if he wants to risk it. 8 more health left, though. So if that thing gets shot pretty much once or twice, that thing is gone. But in the meantime, BC actually still has a supply lead, 67 to 55. And there goes the expansion to the natural.
And he's basically even in the worker count as well. I mean, his income's a lot lower because he had everything on one base, so he's oversaturated. The scan goes down here from KawaiiLighT. He's going to see that CC coming out, and he'll know that it's not going to be a one-base timing, but still, this push from BC is going to be very scary. He has siege mode. He has a lot of Marines, 2 medevacs. He has the Raven. And he's pushing across the map here. He's going to scan and see KawaiiLighT is moving out to meet this. And this is smart. You don't want to get trapped inside your base against those siege tanks. But the problem is, I don't think his army beats this army in a straight-up fight.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough with those siege tanks out. Plus that Raven on top. We'll throw down some auto turrets, perhaps. Now, there's not a lot of Marauders for him to use that PDD against. But, I mean, those siege tanks, I think, are enough. Plus, those 2 medevacs are here. And Kawhi, out in the middle of the map, does not have medevac support.
Yeah, and I mean, but just doing what he's doing has delayed these siege tanks so much. I mean, he would have been sieged for a long time already at the natural had he not pushed out. And this is making BC nervous because he doesn't know that his opponent doesn't have stim. And if he did, then it's so much scarier. But anyway, BC is being extremely patient with that. It looks like he might just go home now. And that's too bad for him because I feel like he could have got a ton of damage done. He scans the top, sees that there's going to be could be a flank, and now he's going to just go try to snipe off that one group of units.
Yeah, this is really, really smart here. And even throwing down the auto turret here to push and force those Marines up the ramp, and they're going to be essentially trapped. But it looks like he's going to retreat here. Probably assumes that stim is about to finish, and it is for Kawhi, so doesn't want to risk losing some of that tank count before it really reaches critical mass.
Yeah, I mean, his Marines don't have stim or combat shields, so combat shield Marines with stim would be pretty brutal to go up against. He definitely, like you said, doesn't want to risk getting flanked. You know, if he went up that ramp and then got sandwiched by stim Marines, it could have been really bad for him. So he's going to choose the safer of the options, but you know, it's kind of becoming a pattern in these 2 games. You know, I feel like if he pushed at this time, he could have done a ton of damage. Obviously, he doesn't know what we know. It's really easy to say that as a caster.
Right.
But the same thing happened last game, too. And he's just being a little overly passive. So it's like he's not really taking advantage of these timing windows that he has. And I'm not sure if it's just because he's nervous or he doesn't want to throw away a game or something. But regardless, these 2 dropships are moving out and it could be pretty dangerous. But I think he's going to be pretty prepared.
Yep, there is a missile turret there, but like we noted before, he actually had the supply lead, and now Kawhi is ahead about by 10 supply. These double drops not going to be too effective, though, as the tanks are sieged in position. In the meantime, we do have a nice little bit of auto turret harass here from Beastyqt. A couple auto turrets going to try to take down a couple of SCVs here. And how many worker kills? 9 worker kills in total, some of those being with the Banshee. So I don't think those auto turrets did too much, but just trying to task the multitasking here for KawaiiLight.
Yeah, he just got 2 kills there. You know, not bad though, because there's no Marauders in the unit composition, so it's like it doesn't really serve that much of a purpose. So it's okay to go do that harass, and he kept it alive. So he's doing a good job. Kawaii's going to stim a couple Marines up here in the top left. Was hoping that the Raven was going to walk through there, but smartly enough, Beasty's just going to be hiding it for now.
Yep. In the meantime, we do have that third base finished for KawaiiLight. It has not morphed into anything. Also adding on these engineering bases to start going for those upgrades. Infantry weapons level 2 is on the way, as well as armor level 2. Adding on a couple more production buildings. We see a secondary factory. Wants to be able to increase that tank count. And another reactor going down on one of these racks. So really pumping out this Marine tank so far. Looking at the units tab, it is 54 Marines for Kawhi and 4 tanks compared to the 34 Marines and 7 tanks for Beasty. So a little bit of a flip-flop there from either one. Beasty with the higher tank count, but lower Marine count.
Yeah, his upgrade's a little bit behind too, and he also doesn't have stim, which is huge. Kawhi is moving forward here. Well, who's going to get the first siege up? He's going to stim forward. Big siege from Beasty. He's going to pull back to his tanks. He has to be careful, but I mean, Kawhi cannot engage into that many tanks. Yeah,
definitely too dangerous. Pretty much going to be able to take down every single bit of those Marines if they tried to run forward. And especially nice is the fact that he has his sensor tower. So feels confident in where he's sieging, not really worried about Kawhi picking up everything and dropping, although I'm sure that's going through Kawhi's mind. Wants to be able to make sure that he's testing every single one of these boundaries and forcing BC to make all those proper missile turrets.
Yeah, and the Raven did come in and wanted to do a little bit more harass, but he rallied it a little too close to the side, so it wasn't in vision of Kawhi for a while. He just moved 5 Marines over there to deal with any sort of auto turret harass that could come out. And BC is pushing forward. He's going to take his third. Kawhi has secured his own third as well. Going to have to transfer some of those SCPs over, though, pretty soon.
Scans going down from both players. We do have a small drop coming around the bottom for Beastyqt, although now Kawhi, with his own sensor tower and missile turret, should be able to hold that off. And, of course, he does have a slightly more mobile army, a lot more reinforcements coming out of these barracks at all times. So we'll see how much damage this do. Beasty just hovering right outside of the engagement range. And right now we're just seeing a little bit of both players testing the no man's land essentially between these 2 tank lines. Kawhi trying to apply pressure, deny the further expansions from his opponent, and leave his 4th open for taking.
Yeah, and BC actually had a really nice move there. He was going to lose his siege tank. It only had 1 more hit on it, but he stimmed forward 3 Marines to absorb one of those tank shots and allow his tank to get that last shot that it needed to kill off Kawhi's before it died.
Yep, and now even repairing it with his SCVs. I love to see Terran players do that. Not enough people actually start repairing their tanks in the meantime, because it's really, really, really important, because your tanks essentially 3-shot other tanks. So if you can just do a little bit of repairs, you're making them essentially 30 or 40% more effective.
Yeah, I completely agree. Not enough players do that. It's so nice to see, especially, sometimes you see mech and players aren't even repairing their mech armies. But anyway, Kawhi's going to try to bust. I think this is the worst possible decision. He's charging into all these siege tanks. He's going to get absolutely slaughtered here. He's having to pull back, but that was just, that was kind of ugly there.
Yeah, he lost a lot of supply. Gave up the lead almost essentially there. And looking at the tank count real quick. Oh, wrong button. 6 to 10. So that is not really doing himself any favors. That Marine count dropped drastically as well. And right now, Beasty is defending well, but Kawhi nicely holding both of these Xel'Naga towers, making sure that he has enough vision to apply pressure on his opponent. And still getting rid of this 4th base. I'm not sure what Beasty's plan is here, but both players are essentially even on Harvesters, 58 to 59. But Kawhi establishing himself in more space, and that's what TvT is all about, positioning.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Kawhi going for that 3-3 already, whereas opponent is just on 2-1. But here comes the bust from Empire's Beastyqt. He's just pushing forward. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. His tanks are all sieged up in the background. He's going to be able to take out all the tanks here from Kawhi, or at least a lot of them. It's going to be really close. There's 2 super low HP tanks. He gets them both. He loses his whole Marine count, but let's check the tank count now. So it's 6 to 7, so really that didn't go very well for him, and he lost basically his entire Marine count. And these players, I think being a little over-aggressive on these busts, it's like, they're not even waiting for their opponent to unsiege or anything. They're just trying to bust into, a massive line of siege tanks.
Yeah, and usually the rule is whoever sieged and attacks into a siege tank loses.
Yeah.
But we see the reason for it. You needed to establish control of that ramp so you can actually take a 4th base. But it definitely cost him. He's down about 20 supply, whereas right before that he was almost even with Kawhi. And again, Kawhi backing up just enough, still establishing himself so that he can either drop on this high ground should his opponent try to go for that 4th. And in the meantime, we do see his 4th base finished up here. But Beastyqt, it looks like he did try to go for that drop, but was taken care of. So he's got